Talking Funny Cars with Buddy Hall will be back. Should be at the start of the season. So it'll be some great guests. As always, we know Buddy does a great job with talking with the different funny car drivers and allowing you guys to get to know these guys and girls a little bit better that are behind the wheels of those 335 mile per hour beasts. And without further ado, it's my guy, the host of the It's Not 1999 Anymore show,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Leel. What's going on, baby?
What's going on, man? I'm glad to be back on. You know, it was a loaded sports weekend with a lot of news. I was listening to you guys' show, to you and the guests that you had talking about the Luka and Anthony Davis trade. And man, I'm still shocked by the trade. I was on the toilet when it was going on, and I couldn't even I was distracted. Normally when I'm on the toilet, I like to concentrate on what I'm doing. Okay, I couldn't even focus. Okay, it's just crazy, but I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. I had to look at that like 3 times. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Did we just do what? We just
I died. I thought I died, brother. I thought I died. You ever saw that movie Baby Boy when Tyrese thought he died when he thought he got shot? I thought I died. Okay.
Man,
Yep.
I'm gonna tell you, these 2 teams right here. When I was kind of been looking at the different games here as of late that they had playoff games, looking at a couple of last middle of the season regular season games against quality football teams, and this is a matchup that is really even. It is kind of going to be a chess match, and I personally think this is going to come down to coaching. It's going to come down to offensive and defensive coordinators. And I think my biggest matchup when I'm looking at this, it's Steve Spagnuolo versus Kellen Moore. That is the key matchup because we already know what Pat Mahomes is going to do. We know Andy Reid and what he's capable of, but Spags has had 2 weeks to prepare for a Kellen Moore offense that if you put a little pressure on him, he panics and he goes to pass happy offense.
Yeah.
When you're looking at this thing, what are your key matchups when looking at these 2 teams going into this football game?
Yeah, I think for me, the number one thing that I'm looking for, and believe it or not, is not all about the X's and O's for me, right? Because the Chiefs are going to put up points.
Mm-hmm.
They're too good. Hello, they won the last 2 chips. Okay, so of course they're going to put up points, right? I'm not worried about the Eagles. They got Saquon Barkley. You saw what he been doing on playoffs. I'm not worried about. They got AJ Brown. They got a lot of talent. So these guys are going to put up points. I'll be shocked if this game is a blowout. So what's going to separate the 2 teams? Because clearly, I mean, they deserve to be here. They know how to win, whether it's the Eagles with explosive plays, whether it's the Chiefs with methodical play. But to me, we get down to the nuances of the game, which are the little things like coaching, like you alluded to, number one, but also the tush push, right? Also, Mahomes' scrambling ability, those little nuances that only get you a yard because guess what? This is a game of what? Inches. So when you talk about the tush push and how the Eagles run that play to perfection, you got other teams that's trying to do it. The Bills last week tried to do that against Kansas City to no avail, right? Why? Because they did not originate that play. They did not create that play. That's like an illegal alien coming to America over the last 2 years and saying, I created hip hop. No, you didn't. You wasn't there. Okay. So the Eagles know how to do it. And if they are in indeed 4 down territory, it makes their offense easier because they know they are in 4 down territory, especially if they only need a yard or 2 yards, right? Now, with the Chiefs, you look at Mahomes, and nobody talks about Mahomes in the playoffs as a runner. Okay. When he's in the playoffs, he's a track star because the last 2 Super Bowls, he I don't believe he had anything less than 45 yards in both of those matchups. And remember, last year they ended the game off his legs. 4th and 1, picked up the first down with his legs. 3rd and 1, picked up the first down. Both of those crucial 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 that he picked up on the last drive to win the Super Bowl. So clearly, they're going to have to contain Mahomes, the scrambler, the Eagles' defensive line here, and that's going to be another key to victory. So, yeah, sure, the X's and O's, the battle of the teams, these guys are too good. There's a reason why they're in this game, but it's going to come down to the nuances, coaching and the tush push and Mahomes' scrambling ability. That's going to separate who wins the championship or not.
Yeah, and I've been looking at the regular season with the Kansas City Chiefs, and I said it before they started their first playoff game that Andy Reid was going to bring out something and bring out stuff that no one has seen all season long. They had been getting by with doing whatever they needed to do to win games, and they hadn't really had to dig into their bag. Last week, when they 2 weeks ago when they played the Buffalo Bills, there were all kinds of new plays. The one play that they used for a design run for Pat Mahomes was something that you saw from the Baltimore Ravens in their playoff game that he used. Now they have not only D Hop and Xavier Worthy, but now with Marquise Brown being back, you saw them utilize him a lot and feature him. I think everything is smoke and mirrors with them, and they're going to bring out some things that Philly hasn't seen. And I think the key to them being able to execute offense in a quality manner is making these guys defend sideline to sideline. Because when they have to defend sideline to sideline, you saw it the two times that they played Washington. They wear down. They're big, they're fast, they definitely can get after you. But if they have to defend, if this is a long methodical drives that you're putting together and they have to defend sideline to sideline, these jokers get a little tired. And when that happens, that's usually when you can gut them up in the secondary, and because there's usually just holes there. And that's where a guy like Travis Kelce comes into play.
No, I agree with you. The Eagles have done a very good job of limiting the explosive plays, right? They don't allow explosive runs, they don't allow explosive passes down the field, but the Chiefs don't rely on that either. Clearly, they
Right.
haven't been explosive throughout the whole season. They don't have explosive runs. They don't, they not this is not Tyreek Hill. Okay, that's on this team. He's not walking through that door. So they are more than fine with methodically moving down the field. Once again, Mahomes scramble ability, short passes, a lot of motion, obviously, to catch the Eagles off guard. And once again, I do agree that the Eagles are going to have to defend sideline to sideline and make sure they do a good job of containing Mahomes, because the Chiefs are fine with making the offense look boring and methodical. That's fine. They'll kill you slowly if they have to. They've been doing it, and that's how they've been winning. So we'll see how the Eagles are going to be able to stop Mahomes, the scrambler, and more importantly, taking away Travis Kelce is going to be a major part in that.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what, too? That what they've done so well with Travis is they haven't really made him the feature in much of the games. It usually comes in, you start to see it sprinkle in as they get into, especially in the second half, where he's running out there and he just seems to find a hole and boom, big 12-yard, 15-yard catch. They have done an excellent job of not, and because of the guys they have around, they haven't had to rely on him at all. And I think that's going to be an interesting chess match as well. And when I look at the Kansas City defense here, everybody, you hear a lot of people talking about stacking the box with the Philadelphia Eagles and to try to stop Saquon. And to be honest with you, I don't think that's the best idea. Saquon, if they are able to create a lane and he gets to your second level and your box is stacked, well, guess what? That just leaves two safeties to make a tackle. And by that time, he's probably about 10 yards downfield and he's got a lot of steam. And usually those guys don't make that tackle. I think Spags comes in here, and because they have the ability to do so, their front four can push the pocket, they can collapse the pocket, they can create havoc for Jalen Hurts, I think they stack. I think they stack and create levels to it, to where that they're not going to be exposed if he gets to the first level. There will be linebackers. There will be guys there to help in that case. With stacking it, it makes him have to make some decisions. And it's not one cut, foot in the ground, and go. And, it's a track meet. He's going to have to do some. He might have to do one or two cuts. Might have to shuffle those feet a little bit. And if you can do that, make him make a second move, that's slowing him down. Now you're giving yourself ability to guys to swarm and tackle the football. When you look at this game with Kansas City defending that run game, which has been so well, and we have to add, I don't think Jalen has it sideline to sideline. I think we saw that during the Washington game. He's not that quick there. Straight line speed, whole different ball game. When you're looking at this thing, what do you think is the best way to defend Saquon? You're not going to eliminate him, but you can kind of contain him a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I think when you look at the NFC Championship game and how the Commanders were playing, the Eagles, first of all, they were undersized. They wasn't big enough. They wasn't able to get to Saquon when he was out on the perimeter. So clearly, you look at the 3 games body of work, even with the 2 games of experience on how to, try to contain, Saquon based off watching film. He still was able to have multi-explosive runs throughout that game. Now, obviously, there's no body that's I think this guy don't get a lot of credit for the Chiefs dynasty, and that's Steve Spagnuolo. What he's able to do defensively, primarily confusing the quarterback, knowing how to disguise the blitzes, especially on those 3rd and 4th money downs, obviously. But when it comes to Saquon Barkley, I think, listen, I won't stack the box either, but I may in the beginning just to see if Hurts, the passer, could beat me. And if he can, then I'll make those adjustments because, Jalen Hurts, it's a mixed bag with him, right? Because clearly in this game 2 years ago, he had an iconic performance. I mean, you take away a fumble that he had that I thought was the difference in the game. I mean, when the game's so close and you're going back and forth down the field, the turnover is going to be the difference. Well, the Eagles had no turnover, so that's going to be key, obviously. But the passing game hasn't been in sync. And that's what makes this Eagles team so hard to read, is that they're like a chameleon. They find ways to win each game no matter what. It may not be cute. It may not be A.J. Brown going for over 100 yards. It may be Saquon Day, but we saw in the NFC Championship game, Hurts the passer, he was more equipped to methodically move that team down the field. And I thought Kellen Moore, had a good game plan, allowing Dallas Goedert to get the ball on screens and dump offs to get the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands. So I think if I'm Kansas City, I'm going to, stack the box in the beginning to see if I could take away Saquon and to see if Jalen Hurts could beat me. And if he is having success, then I will have to make an adjustment. And I think that's what it's going to come down to, is teams making adjustments throughout the game.
Yeah. And that's a good point because I think they can defend outside. They play a lot of press. I say it.
Yeah, the corners is pretty good.
Yeah. I say it in basketball and here. The stars are going to eat. They're going to get theirs. They're going to beat you every now and then. But for the most part, McDuffie and those guys, I feel like can match up pretty well on the outside with them. And they're a team that does tackle well in the secondary. And if you can put the ball in Jalen's hands, to me, he hasn't proven that he can take over a game and win it on his arm. And I have always said, and we've seen that a few times with them, if they get down and you put pressure on Kellen Moore to make him feel like time's running out and that they need to make something happen now, he abandons the run. Even when they are up, he abandons the run. I think you saw it. You saw it in both. You saw it in both games with Washington. The turnovers really kind of helped them a lot and put them in good field position. But they completely stopped running Saquon Barkley out of nowhere, just for no reason at all. And I think those types of things, those kind of lapses there are going to be the catalyst and really will be the reason they win or don't win. Um, is how quickly can Kansas City force Kellen Moore to push the panic button.
And that's a very good point, because when you look at the last Super Bowl, not between these two teams, I'm talking about last year, the 49ers had a lead. They should have ran the ball with CMC. That was clearly, they have guys and dogs out there, Brandon Ayuk and Debo and all that. But their best player is Christian McCaffrey. So they should have ran that ball a little bit more. And even Kyle Shanahan, coaching malpractice, got a little pass happy, and that's how they lost last year. So Kellen Moore cannot be, making the same mistake. I understand there's a mystique. These are the Chiefs. There's a mystique out there that,
Right.
we gotta, guys get nervous. It happens. I mean, look at what's the coordinator for Baltimore, Todd Monken, in the
Yep.
AFC Championship game 2 years ago. Okay, you're running the ball, everything is fine, but you get to the AFC Championship game, you're only running the ball 4 times.
Yeah.
Okay, and you pass happy. They got to know whatever's working, you stick to it. And running the football with Saquon should be the move, because we saw James Cook run the ball in the second half. That's Buffalo's problem in the first half last week.
Yeah.
Again, the mystique. Josh Allen, 2 pass happy in the beginning. Let's calm him down in the second half and give James Cook the ball in the second half, which they should in the first half. So they need to ride Saquon here and not get cute. And if they do that and Kellen Moore does not coach out of his shell, then they should win this game.
So who you got?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a very interesting game. I'm not gonna lie, there's a big fat conundrum in my head right now, because you know, I've been very vocal on my platform about the referees when it comes to the Chiefs. I firmly believe that. Listen,
Take don't lie.
NFL's entertainment is a lot of calls that go their way. I'm a Brady fan. Brady's the GOAT. And I don't want to hear nothing else besides that. Even if Mahomes win a championship, there's one GOAT. There's no 2 GOATs. There's one. Okay.
No.
And that's Tom Brady. But even my guy got calls in the Super Bowls. I go back to that Brandon Cooks, against the Rams. Brandon Cooks got held in the end zone or before the end zone. And that should have been a spot foul that would have gave the Rams a boost to score. Obviously, they didn't score in that Super Bowl. I seen Miles Jacket called down when he picked up a fumble when he wasn't touched, and he brought it back to the house. That would have extended the the Jaguars lead over the Patriots by 2 scores in the fourth quarter. I seen it. The tuck rule. Hello. Okay. The tuck rule. Right. So I know when you look at the Chiefs, there's 1,000 flags that go on their side. They haven't had a holding penalty in the Super Bowl in the last 3 Super Bowls, which I find that to be very ironic with everything I know about the game and how that play could be called on every other play. So it's hard for me to, not take that in consideration. But if I'm keeping it strictly football, the Eagles football team versus the Chiefs, I think the Eagles should win this game. But it's really tight because you got the coaching. And I really value coaching in the NFL, and I really value coaching when it comes to these type of games. It matters a lot, and more than any sport. Like coaching in football matters. But I'm gonna go with the Eagles. I think it's gonna be hard to three-peat. You know what this remind me of, and closing in my lap here? It reminds me of the Patriots back in 2007 when they was chasing something.
Yeah.
They was chasing an undefeated season. Okay, and that was history right there. And they wanted to accomplish that, and the Giants punched them in the mouth. I remember that. I was a Patriots fan. It broke my heart. I still think about that game to this very day. I'm talking about it. Clearly, I'm thinking about it, right? But it reminds me of that here with the Chiefs having a golden opportunity to accomplish something that hasn't been done in this game. And I think the Eagles is not going to want that to be on their watch. And that's why I'm going with them.
I'm going to go with the 3-peat and the Chiefs. And here's my reasoning behind it. I don't trust Nick Sirianni and that group as a coaching staff. There are too many gaffes on his part, whether it's game management and situational management. Andy Reid should go down as one of the best, if not the best coach in the league. with what they bring out and what they will bring out offensively. I know that Eagles have been studying tape. There's going to be a whole bunch of stuff that they ain't seen before. And with the times that we see this team get off the slow starts, you can't afford a slow start against this team. And I don't think the big three-peat that's at hand that they're trying to accomplish history, I don't think it's going to phase this team as much, just because of the been there, done that mentality. And nobody other than Jaden Daniels is nobody more cool and calm and collected than Pat Mahomes. And with, like I said, with the defensive, I like Vic Fangio. Great guy. Has done a great job with the guys that he has. But at the end of the day, those guys have a tendency to break formation, and they can be shook in some of the most critical moments. They can't seem to find a stop. I know Eagles like to play with a lot of attitude, and I don't think they want to meet attitude with this football team. And Spags has had 2 weeks. He's going to find a way, and I think it's going to be one of those things where, sure, you might be able to run the ball, but at the end of the day, they're going to make Jalen Hurts beat you, and I just don't see that happening. And I see Kellen Moore wetting the bed again. I just can't trust the guy. His track record speaks as such. You look at Dallas, you look at the absolute horrid job he did in LA with the Chargers, and he's had moments here where he gets out of sync and out of what he wants to do, and really the opposing team didn't really put him in that position. He just panics. So I'm taking 3-peat here. I think it'll be pretty close. I'm thinking like maybe 28-31, could be 31-24, but I'm taking the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's going to be a good game. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to that satanic stuff that the NFL be promoting at the Super Bowl with these celebrities and stuff like that. Yeah. But I am looking forward to the game itself, and I think it should be a good one, man. I'll be shocked if we come back here and talk about a blowout. I think the Chiefs, you're going to have to kill the Chiefs, man. They're the beast, and they get a lot of calls. So you got to slay the beast, 3 things at one time, and you just got to do it. You got to play above the referees to the best of your ability, try to play discipline. And I just think it's going to be a good game. But, I think, the NFL is the NFL for a reason. It's never been done for a reason. And I'm just not thinking that we're going to see history. But I could be wrong.
Yeah. You're right about that. The Chiefs are like the Bulls with Jordan, Pippen, Bill Cartwright, Steve Kerr, Tony Kukoc. They just got the calls. They got the calls. The most opportune times, they were the ones who got the calls. And it does seem like in football that we've seen it. I mean, you go back to the Buffalo game. We saw that several times there where they seemed to got the calls to go their way. And it was, to me, in 2 instances, was obvious that those were first downs.
Yeah, it was. And I think a lot of people refuse to believe that, I'm not saying that the game is rigged, but I am saying that it's rigged, if you know what I mean. And I think a lot of people are not willing to accept that. They want to believe that the NFL is doing right. This is not nowhere near the WWE. And I'm not saying it's the WWE like they read it from a script, but to say that the Chiefs don't get calls, like I said, you either 2 things, stubborn or ignorant, or wishing that what you're seeing is not existent, but it is. And the Chiefs haven't benefited from it. Like, they haven't played in one blowout other than the Steelers on Christmas Day this year.
Yeah.
Every game has been down to the wire. Now, you can sit here and scream championship DNA all you want, but to win every single game closely, and when you dive into those games, you see the nuanced calls that went on their side. It's obvious that they get calls.
When Troy Aikman is pointing that out, it's pretty obvious.
No, I salute to him. I think he's going to lose his job probably because of it. When you speak truth to power, you are unemployed. It doesn't pay well to speak the truth. And you know that, Dujane. It does not pay well to speak the daggone truth. It doesn't.
You're right. It's sad, but it's true. Very true. Leel, let everybody know where they can follow you at and where they can catch your awesome show.
Definitely. It's not 1999 anymore. Believe it's not. We are on YouTube. 99 Pod is the nickname for the show. So you can follow me on YouTube, Real Lil TV. You can follow me on Facebook, Real Lil, and Instagram, real.lil_TV. And man, we be getting to it, man. We be speaking truth to power. We be calling it like it is, and we don't care what the mainstream narrative is. And that's just what it is.
That's right. And you guys do an excellent job, man. Leel, we'll chop it up here again soon, my man. Thank you for coming on the show. Appreciate you.
Thank you for having me, man. Looking forward to it.